believe so.
Hey guys, how you doing today? We are running a tad bit late. Probably no big surprise. We normally do that. We are here at the Game Time Collectibles. We've actually had quite a few people in here today. Rob's been busy non-stop. That's why we're running a couple minutes late. So, anyways, here we are. We have 3 people watching.
Oh, that's
There's
good.
3 people.
That's because we were late. They were just waiting.
They were patiently waiting.
Patiently waiting.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yep, like I said, we were running a little bit late, and but glad you guys joined us. So, what do you? How was your Christmas?
My Christmas was pretty good. It was pretty much the usual. We go to my mom's on New Year's, on Christmas Eve morning for like a brunch thing, and then again with the larger family, like extended family on Christmas Day in the afternoon.
Oh, did Santa bring you what you wanted?
Yeah, I guess so. I got some pretty cool stuff. My sister's a really good gift giver.
Oh,
and,
good.
Tries to do creative things. So she got me this crate. There was this little crate, like man crate, and it has like all your favorite things in it. So part of the thing is you get a crowbar, and you're supposed to open it. And then like my daughter and my wife were trying to help me open it. I didn't look very manly.
I was gonna say.
Trying to open
That's probably the first crowbar you've ever owned.
Yeah, probably the first time I've ever picked up a tool.
Yeah, there we go. That's me too. Honestly, if any of you know me, if I had a crate and I need to open it, I'd be asking my neighbor Chuck.
Yeah, that's true.
He is my mow man. He is the guy that mows my grass and shovels my snow.
Yeah.
You definitely need a neighbor Chuck.
Yeah.
If you can get one. Anyways, we're through Christmas. We are back to our holiday. We're still going to have a little bit of our hours are going to change a little bit. Friday for New Year's Eve, we're 12 to 4, and closed on New Year's Day. So everybody can be home watching bowl games and all that. Friday we'll leave here at noon or 12. We'll leave 12 to 4, and then close on Saturday. After that, we will be back to our regular hours through the rest of for multiple months.
Yeah.
12 to 6, Tuesday through Saturday, unless we have inclement weather, of course. And
then we'll kind of do Sundays and Mondays by appointment.
Yeah, Sundays and Mondays where we'll keep by appointment. So if you want to come in, feel free to message us, or we will make ourselves available. So, hey Valerie, thanks for joining us, and Vince, thanks for joining us, and Michael Hogan. Mike, I wish you'd just change your name on there to the Postman, because I've always probably for the last 20 years I've called you the Postman to everybody, and everybody knows exactly who it is. I guess it could be former Postman.
Yeah, that's how we would differentiate between the mics.
Yes,
Mike,
multiple mics in the business.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true. So this is kind of like our year in review.
Yeah.
So we're going to touch on some of the things that happened this year that really kind of helped shape where we're at in the hobby.
Yep.
And then maybe we'll throw out a few predictions, kind of off the cuff.
Sure.
For the next 12 months, what we think is going to happen in the next 12 months, where we see things going. So.
Okay.
So
let's do that.
All right. So I think the first, just to kind of jump into it.
I would say last year, January and February, were still pushing really strong.
Yeah.
Really strong. People were buying mass amounts of singles, paying really solid prices on them, up to 70-80%, because they're planning on getting them graded. January last year was really good. February was really good last year, or this year.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden in March,
something happened.
People's worlds got rocked.
And it was late March.
It was late March.
And what happened to rock people's world? Was it another wave of COVID?
What?
Not really.
I mean,
the Delta was a little bit later, I think.
Delta was later, but everybody was having COVID and all that. Boosters, everybody was starting to get their shots and stuff like that. So, And we do recommend, I don't know about Rob, I can't say a stance on it, but for me, I have had both my initial shots and my booster. I think it's not for yourselves, but for the people around you. I think it's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, I chose to grab death right by the throat.
Yeah, Rob tried to die.
Wrestle with it for a while, and then, kick its butt, and then,
Yeah, so he's had the COVID, so let's just hope that none of the variants come around. Mm-hmm. So, anyways. So, all these people that were professional card dealers, which basically means anybody that could get some cards together and send the PSA, which is not difficult at all. Yeah. All of a sudden, PSA has to shut down.
So, first thing that happened this year, first major thing was PSA shutting down. Yep. And how did it affect things, do you think? I'll kind of comment on the wax side, and you comment on...
Well, PSA should have done this way before that. Mm-hmm. PSA had already raised their prices a little bit, but literally I've heard the estimation was the last week that they were taking cards, and they announced that they were closing, they were only doing 40 to 50,000 cards a week, and took 500,000 cards in that week. So everybody tried to get in line, so if you're only doing 50,000 cards a week, 500, that's 10 weeks of work right in that 1 week. So it was inevitable that there was going to be long waits. And then we had been submitting stuff from May, June, July, the year before, thinking we're going to be 6 months out, and we were nowhere near. We were not even close to getting it. So,
yeah, that is true.
That's one sexy man.
Was that your sister?
No, that was your wife. She said Robert Dolby, so I guess it's.
Yeah.
Oh, and Bart chopped in, and Bart said, I think.
Did he say one sexy man?
Yeah, Bart said also one big sexy man.
Okay.
I think big impact was PSA shutting down off bulk. 100%.
Yeah.
So you found all these people that are now caught with their with their pants down or whatever. We know one guy in particular that was a childhood friend of ours that said he spent like almost $40,000 buying cards. He's a businessman. Decided he wanted to get back into cards because everybody said buy this, buy that. So he comes into my shop with tons of Luka rookies, tons of all these hot rookies and all that. And he's like, I'm like, oh, how long you had these? You should send them in to get graded. He's like, I literally just bought them. So he was buying them, not knowing that PSA was going to shut down. So he was looking at the upside. He was planning on sending a PSA, turning them real quick, making that quick money. And no, it didn't happen. I don't even know what the guy did with the cards. I assume he probably still has them. Cards have went down since then. Lukas have taken a crash a bit. Zion's I don't know anybody's buying Zion. So, anyways, the market in March crushed a lot of these flippers. I'm gonna say fly-by-nighters that were just in it to make a quick buck. Yeah. And really hurt the hobby.
It did.
It gave the hobby like a black eye, because you had your regular people that just collect and all that, and now they can't buy their singles because something goes up, and then the wax prices go up. Well, what was your take on the wax from earlier this year?
Yeah, well, the same thing with PSA shutting down. Now, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, and sometimes I have to sit back and think through things a few times. But I had a guy that used to, for a living, way bigger wax dealer than I will ever be or ever was, and he was, really big in the 90s. And as soon as that happened, he's like, wow, yeah, you're going to really watch your boxes soften. And I'm like, what? From PSA shutting down? What does that have to do with anything? But, it took me a couple times of him saying that before I'm like, no, wait a minute. Yeah, nobody's going to give me $800 for a box of cards to hit this card that they think can go from 300 raw to 2,000 if it grades a 9.5. because that's not a possibility for them now.
Yeah.
Now that they have to wait for that, they don't know how long that's going to be. So that box should soften, and it did. I noticed the higher end boxes kind of
especially basketball.
Yes, especially basketball softened. But the only reason it didn't go completely down is the other aspect of this is still the continual, I guess, involvement and evolution of social media
and breakers.
And breakers. That's specifically what I mean.
Yeah,
just
breakers.
other areas for breakers to go to. Now they can go on Twitch, or they can go on Whatnot.
I don't even know what
whatever.
it is.
I have no idea what Whatnot is. But they can do that and still move their product and still pass that buck on up the line.
Yeah.
And it's just, we've had this conversation before. Less and less people were coming in here and spending money on more than $300-400 on a box and opening it themselves.
And we can't, and we're not complaining about that. There's no way to say, hey, that's a bad thing. You know, that's not a.
No, my customer base, you know, has changed from I'm almost a middleman to breakers now.
Yeah.
A lot of, even on my website, I had 3 sales just since I've been in here today on my website. And those 3 sales were probably somebody that's going to pass that buck on up the line.
For sure.
To someone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just the nature of where it is right now. But yeah, the PSA shutdown softened the market quite a bit.
It did soften the market.
And it began to come back.
It made a lot of people realize how much money they have in hobby, because until then, I mean, literally everybody, you know, it's like a gravy train with biscuit wheels. This is going to keep on going.
Yeah.
People spending hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s for cards that were literally Michael Jordan rookies went from 5,000 being a gym mint up to 700,000. You know, wait a second here. You know, now they've ended in a middle ground, but it's still the person who didn't want to pay 5,000 for it definitely doesn't want to pay 700,000 for it. So you know, you've with all that influx of money and all that time, you know, you've corrupted the system. You know, and now that person that's got it for 700,000, and say Jordan rookies, I think the last thing I looked, they were about 300 or whatever.
Yeah.
That person that's upside down on that card has got 2 choices: either grin and bear it, or dump it and take a loss. You know, and the person that sold it for 700 got really lucky. The person who bought it 700 got bamboozled.
Yeah.
By a strong market, a fixated, quick flip. Everybody's buying it. I gotta have the best at that time market.
Yeah. So then there was another major thing, and we can talk about. There's lots of.
Are you talking about our traders night?
Yeah, our traders night's a major thing. Well, a side note to that is, right after that PSA shut down, middle of summer, we were all killing ourselves here.
Yeah.
Making a move. Which was the 4th time we've basically moved to the shop.
Well, it's the 2nd time you moved it.
Yeah, well,
me and Bobby moved we originally started our shop in 2014 in November and October, so we did the pumpkin show then. And Rob allowed us to sell some stuff in the shop, or we bought it off of him. But it was me and Bobby doing that, and then we moved to our old shop, the one that was like 90 feet long for
but
a
only
year.
About 12 feet deep.
Only about 15 feet wide, but like 90 feet long. So it was like a lot of room, but there again, you run out of space quickly. So then our 3rd move was across the hallway to the green grass room, which we'd been for 5 years. Yeah. Then this year, with the craft mall, with the owners of the craft mall wanting to buy the building across the parking lot, it gave us an opportunity to get a bigger space and a door to the public, so basically you walk right in the door and stuff like that. So it was definitely an up thing to do. There was a lot of blowback with it, with time to paint, getting new heating in here, getting it cleaned up and stuff like that, and then the whole move. So,
that's
and
true.
being open by May. Were we open here?
I think there was a June trade night.
June trade night. I think that was the one that's the one we was in here. So
yeah, we basically killed ourselves to get in here.
So
for that. So yeah, that was for us, personally. Here.
That was personally for us a big upgrade, and we're glad we're here. We have built in some storage and stuff like that. So this will be the permanent residence of Game Time Collectibles until, for say, one day, 15 to 20 to 30 years from now, we decide we want to go out of business. That this will be the permanent resident. This will be the last permanent residence of Game Time Collectibles, because I'm not moving it again.
Yeah.
Be honest with you, I'm not. Yeah.
So another big thing that happened in our hobby, but I can't really say that we felt it yet. We felt the fear or the scare of the change that might be approaching. But Fnatic stepped up and bought the licensing from the major sports, and those deals will take place in 2 years, and then I think the other one in 4 years. And so that deal that Fnatic's is going to step in has left a lot of us unsure exactly what the future holds, and maybe scrambling to diversify ourselves a little bit.
I mean, for your regular collector, it shouldn't affect you too much, because they're still going to put out product. I mean, if you're a person that goes to shows and buys from people's quarter boxes, dime boxes, and stuff like that, honestly, I think you're going to find less of that type of stuff out there. Because people can't afford to buy a $300 box and put cards you get in it, even if they are lesser guys, for a quarter. Like I was looking the other day at, I can't remember what product it was. It wasn't a major product, it was just a regular decent product. And like all the cards are now $1 in it. That's what the book value is. It says all commons are $1. And I'm like, no one's going to give me I'm not going to be able to get $1 for Freddie Freeman in Columbus, Ohio. For a base card. I can't say it couldn't happen, but more than likely that's not going to happen. So you're going to find less and less people opening those boxes, because especially when you go with your breakers, a lot of them don't like to send that bulk. You just get hits and stuff like that, or numbered cards and stuff like that. So that stuff is not going to be. That stuff's going to be less and less out there. So you're going to have a hard time finding those single cards you need for sets and stuff like that in the future. But Fanatics is planning on. I don't know, from what we've heard. Well, they've given us two different things. One, they're going to start selling direct, and the next thing they're going to keep
they want nothing more than to see 10 times as many card shops.
They want to see 10 times as many card shops.
So it's kind of, it has been mixed.
You can't have 10 times the card shops if you don't give the card shops cards to be able to sell at a decent price and make a decent profit.
Yeah, and we've said it multiple times before, but hobby boxes, products like that, sealed products, is what drives the local card shop. I mean, for the most part, that's how they pay their bills. And then the other stuff's kind of icing on the cake. One other thing that happened that we can't even say it's a hobby thing, but the free money dried up.
We're not getting any more free money?
Yeah, so the extra money from unemployment and all that kind of dried up. So now people, no matter what, we're not a needed item. So if you have an extra $600 in your budget a month or whatever, or your food stamp benefits went up $600 or whatever, you feel like you have extra money. And so that $300 for that box doesn't hurt you like it used to.
Near as bad as it did.
Yeah. So that kind of dried up. So that kind of brought people back to reality and our hobby back to a reality. And we're saying that, back to reality. But we had a really good week. Going into Christmas. People were here, and sometimes we're kind of like, do people know we're here? But definitely during Christmas.
We did see a lot of people come in, and they're like, oh, I haven't been in the shop, or went to try to go in the other shop and then realized we'd moved and stuff like that. And those customers, we do appreciate those customers, the once a year, twice a year customers, but we definitely would like to have more regular customers, that come in regularly and stuff like that. So that's probably one of our biggest things, is trying to reach out to more people that don't know we're here.
Yeah.
We're located about 15 minutes from South Columbus, 20 minutes from downtown Columbus. So we're not that far out of your way. Our prices are very much comparable to all your online websites, and very compatible with any of the card shops in Columbus.
Yeah.
Just because we're a little bit out of the way, we know that. So, and we do have singles. We carry singles. We're a different type of shop. You know, we have a little bit of NASCAR, a little bit of comic books, figures, bobbleheads, Funko Pops. We have a fan section for Cincinnati Reds and Bengals and stuff like that. So we are a multi-purpose shop.
Yeah.
Sure. One of the things we've always still had a problem is advertising to those people that are not a diehard card person, but it's just interested here and there. So that's something we're going to try to figure a way to reach out to more of those people over the next year.
Yeah, for sure. So, so just to kind of bring this to a close, we kind of talked about PSA shutdown, Fnatic deal, free money stopped, kind of coming to us. So, what are some predictions maybe you have for like a year, for the next year? Is there any certain thoughts you have for the next year? Any major?
I predict in the next year that not with just cards, but for the viruses that are out there, that there will be some sort of drug, shot, pill, something that will get the life expectancy down, so you're not dying from a virus that's basically a cold.
Yeah.
So that's a prediction I do have. I think it's out there. I think they have the pills. I think they're going to have them. And if you're not worried about dying, then it's not that big a deal to be around people. Because there's a lot of people who have lost a lot of family members this year to this disease, and we hope that there's a cure, a complete cure, but at least something to keep it from causing death and stuff like that. So, but that's just on a personal note. Anyways, okay, you want to talk about cards? Oh, okay. Well, I would say that you're going to be able to find more sports cards at your Walmarts, Targets, and Myers, because the flippers, which I call flippers, and that's not an insult to you guys, it's just what you're doing, you're buying it, flipping it. The flippers are going to find out that there's not enough money to make a living doing it by sitting at Walmart for 6 hours and buying boxes for $29.99, and they're only selling for $40.
Yeah.
If you pay that plus tax, you're $32. You're making $8. Is it worth it for $8 to buy 10 boxes? For us, it is not. We've told you that all along. We're not at Walmart sitting there trying to buy. We've had somebody contact us today about buying blasters. Unfortunately, because the price of wherever he bought them from has raised their price on cellos and blasters and hangers, we just can't come to a price that makes it sense for him to sell it to us and make money, but for us to buy it from him to actually resell it.
Yeah,
because we're not going to come in higher than the national chains. We can't do it. It doesn't make sense. We want your cut. We want your business here, and we want to be competitive. That's the word.
Yeah,
that's the word. But we also cannot carry stuff that we can't make some money on. So
yeah, and so that story that you said about that guy, that's happened multiple times, and over the last probably 6 months, I have 3 or 4 guys that come to me regularly, and we're just hitting me up like almost every other day, or at least once a week, whatever got their shipment. And I'm like, listen, you're gonna need to stop buying so much of this stuff and just assuming I'm gonna take it, because there's not going to be any room for you. And the guy today, you know, to be very specific about the numbers a little bit, not who it was, but wanted $1,600 for what I thought, in all honesty, I could get 17 to 1,800 for.
Yeah.
And there was no way. We weren't even close. Now, at the same time, I countered at 1,200, and I'm like, that's my max, and that is what I meant. That 12 was my max.
Yeah.
And at that, he might only made $150 profit.
Yeah.
So it wasn't worth it for him, but at the same time, it wasn't worth it for me to mess around and put out money for products, you know.
See, because we are the end for a lot of people when they're selling stuff. You sell us stuff. If you have an item in it doesn't matter what item it is, and Bart Howe's a friend of ours, and he's brought this to our attention. You know, when you sell me something, you don't have to try to sell it anymore. You're getting paid cash. We're giving you cash out. Blah blah blah. Now we're buying something in our thoughts that we're going to resell it. Now, if we buy it and it goes down and we lose money, I'm not going back to you and be like, hey, I overpaid you for that. You should give me some money back. No. But that's the risk I'm taking by purchasing off of you. So I have to make sure the numbers at least make sense for me to make something to do it. Because if I buy something for 50 and I have to sell it for 50, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going. But if I buy something for 50 and I have to sell it for 30, I shouldn't have spent the 50 in the first place. So you have to make sure there's enough room in there to make money. But the person that's selling it also seeing value or coming up with values of it's selling on eBay or selling on Craigslist or Facebook and all that. Those are all people trying to sell it too. So it's just one of those things. It's, you're not wrong for wanting more money. You just found the wrong people that were not going to pay it. So I see it from both sides. I totally would see why somebody wouldn't want to not make any money. For sure. No, everybody.
I totally get
everybody's doing cards to make money.
Yeah, and
there are still collectors out there.
Yeah,
but everybody's still doing it to make money.
Yeah. So here's a couple predictions I have just to get it. So your prediction was more retail on the shelves because there's just not money to be made from the flippers.
For sure.
And I agree with that. I think prices on hobby boxes pretty much should continue to come down. I mean, I don't know if they could come down much because the breakers are still successful. But here's a couple things I jotted down. I believe that some of the oddball brands are going to gain more acceptance because they're maybe your only alternative. When your hobby shop is getting in 2 boxes of this product and 1 box of that product and 4 of this one. I mean, and they can get you Onyx, and they can get you Leaf, or they can get you Historic Cuts, or they can get you Sage.
Yeah.
That's going to be your option. Yeah. And I think that, and those are going to be affordable options. So I think they just get more acceptance, and especially if you go to a Leaf.
We're specifically talking about Brian Gray.
Yeah, no.
At Leaf.
No,
he puts out a very good product.
100%. The Pro Set was one of the better looking products of the year.
One of the best products of the year.
Yeah.
In our opinion. Now the players are in their college uniform.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm not going to, when Contenders comes out, I'm not going to pay you for a Mac Jones Contenders autograph, cracked ice. I'm not going to pay you $10,000 for that.
Yeah.
When I can go to regular Sage or Pro Set and get a Mac Jones autograph out of maybe 7 for $200 or $300.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for me. I'm not a huge big time collector.
Yeah.
I'm a dealer.
Yeah. Now, for me, everybody can make business mistakes and everything like that. But I would say, with what I'm saying about oddball companies gaining more acceptance, I would go as far as to say, as the Fanatics deal unfolds, depending on how Fanatics plays it, Leaf is positioned to literally be a very accepted brand in the hobby. Once again.
Plus, Leaf has put out other products like Pop Century.
Oh yeah.
And we love the Pop Century. It's a very beautiful
selling
product.
Through it like crazy.
Yeah, we can't keep it in stock, and it's celebrities, and people realize. I mean, I hate to say it, but the lifeline on celebrities. People pass away, and prices go up, and there's short print stuff, and I've even opened a box, and I don't open that many boxes anymore, so it was fun to open a box. But
Yeah, and then another thing I'll just throw out there. So I basically just have 3 things. So oddball brands gain more acceptance. Oddball sports gain more cards. And what I mean is the Formula One, the UFC, soccer, any of that kind of stuff. Even probably NASCAR. Once again, any of that stuff. I see more products out there, and people going, well, okay, that basketball mosaic 650. But the mosaic, racing is only $155 or whatever. Oh, I'm going to buy that. That's a sharp-looking card. So I think if you're just on the line there of those sports that are like that, I think they're going to grow this year.
I see that.
Yeah, and then the last thing is I think profits shrink. And I think if you do this as casually, you're going to flip. You do this to support your hobby. You're a shop. I just think profits are going to shrink. Especially on hobby, if you're a hobby box dealer, messing with allocation and all that stuff, it's just going to shrink. And as a matter of fact, I can tell you that my profits shrunk by probably 20% this year over the year before. And I do think they're going to get back to that normal retail range of 30%, and then plus you have your overhead and all that stuff, and maybe even flipping whole boxes and not packs. It's below 30. Maybe it's closer to 20. But again, I don't think anybody needs to panic. I think the hobby's doing great. It's just the mindset's now got to be, I need to flip this quicker than I used to, and I've got to flip more to make that same $100,000 a year or whatever you're trying to pay yourself.
And your customers are feeling it. I mean, a customer comes in, they want to buy a box. It used to be $100. You could get a lot of boxes, a choice at least of boxes. Now, $200-$300. Now, granted, everybody wants higher wages. Everyone wants $15 an hour. Even $15 an hour, a $300 box, you're working 20 hours to pay for a $30 box or $300 box. That is what is hurting the hobby. I don't know if that's ever can be fixed, or with Fanatics taking over in the next couple years. If it breaks the hobby, there is a point where you're going to have products that are so high that no one can buy it. Or only select few, and then it takes that common collector out of the mix at all, and they're like, I don't even want to collect cards because I can't get bigger, higher, better stuff. So,
all right.
You guys about done?
Yeah, I'm about ready to.
Yeah, we're talking to Bobby off screen. We'll probably have Bobby chip in maybe after the first year. We'll do a wrap up of the first year here, or after the first year. So.
Yeah, sure.
But
so we can wrap.
I don't know how many of you care, but I'm still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive. He has made it. He has made it for another year, and we haven't. He keeps on coming back, so that's a good thing. So but we see a lot. This next year is going to be a year of hopefully getting back to normal. With even our traders' nights, our customers. We've picked up a lot of customers, and we've lost a few customers. There are a few that have passed on, or just don't have the ability to purchase now these days with the cost of cards. So, but no matter if you come to the shop to buy a card or not buy a card, you're always welcome here. There's always going to be someone to say, hey, how you doing? And let you know that we are a kind shop. We try to be. And we've had some ups, and we recently had some downs. We had a Grinch try to steal our Christmas joy, and they did steal some stuff from us, but we successfully we're gonna make it through it. That's what it's about. We are trying to get through this year to the next year, and we're gonna have a better one. So, all right, guys. Hey, thanks for joining us, and we will be back right after the first year. And for me, for Rob, for Bobby, have a happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Please, if you drink, don't drive, or consider your fellow man if you're out there partying and stuff. we all want to live into next year. So, all right, guys. A lot of service announcements today. Don't mean to scare you guys off. Just that's what we think. So, all right, guys. Hey, thanks for joining us, and Happy New Year. See you next year. Bye.
Bye.